All right, welcome everybody to Peeps and Views. This is Proof is in the Play, and I'm here with
the most worshipful Grandmaster Gregory D. Wraggs Sr., the most worshipful Prince Saul Grand Lodge of Washington and jurisdiction. Well, Black Lives Matter. To me, all lives matter. I'm born and raised from Louisville, Mississippi. And if anybody know where that's at, that's a little small town in Mississippi, and my little residence was out in the country, in an area where we call New Zion. And that was a community where back then it was just gravel roads, and you know, I was just 15, 20 miles away from Philadelphia, Mississippi, where, you know, a whole lot of lynching and all kind of stuff took place. So I say that to say this about Black Lives Matter. Everybody's life matter, but we have to be smart about the way we do things, and to be educated about things. I think that with our younger generation now, I think that we have to go back to educating them. It's the simplest thing as if you get pulled over, you know, put your lights on in your car, put your hands on the steering wheel, put your hands on the dashboard. Be appropriate, you know, get correct about things. That yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am thing, that might come into play. It make things a lot easier. Politically, just be correct. Don't turn your back. Don't make quick movements, even when if a cop pull you out the car and talk to you. Keep your hands out your pocket. Try not to even talk with your hand. You know, just make slow movements, and those are things that we have to teach our younger people these days, right now. And but we do have to stand up, because we know that the justice system is and now when it come down to it, the justice system is not fair it's not partial. I'm gonna say it's not fair and partial to us.
So in that matter, it's a lot of young kids out here having guns, and it's a lot of gun violence and gun murders, particularly in the last 2-3 months here in this state, in this metro area. What do you, being that you're from the old school, right? What would you tell a young man that's still trying to enjoy his life but has to live it in here?
Well, okay, I would tell the young man, because I got a young son that's 21 years old right now, and that's Greg Jr. Now, I would tell him to tell a young man the same thing I tell my son. The first thing is to get your education. Now, along with that is to stay. And a lot of people don't want to agree with this, but the first thing is education. But at the same time, equal out with being involved, not going to church, being involved in the church. Now, once those two things goes on, then your life can move in any parameter that you want it to move. But you have to be, as a young African American man, you got to be strong-willed to be able to want to resist the things that happen to. It's a lot of people. I tell you right now, one of the things for me, and one of the things I share with young people, because I was a United States Army recruiter, and some people that I put into the Army was just satisfied just working young folks just working a weekly job in the state of Michigan. They just get paid every week, and they live week to week to week. They didn't mind that. They had a GED. They got out of school, dropped out of school. So I always tell the young folks, I tell them a story about myself. And I say, you know, when I was 18, I graduated from school, and I'm gonna say this. See, I lost my mom. I don't know how many years it was, but it's on October 1st. So I always tell them that 2 years I stayed on my own, and then I went into the United States Army, and I stayed 21 years. Then went and fought a war. But during that time, I got 2 college degrees. raised a family, you know, and I stayed in and I done all that to set an example for them. And I tell young folks that so that they can understand. You know, I work at Bremerton at the Naval Shipyard, and you know, the only thing you have to do is go down. You have to be a high school graduate, have a GED, one or the other. And first thing I tell anybody is that, you know, you're gonna take a drug test. So if you can do all that and then pass their little physical, which is really not much, you just carry a couple of weights around and stuff like that, and then that's it. You wait till the next move is then you be going into orientation. So they have many skills down there. You can go into the apprenticeship, or you can just go into the helper worker program where they're only job training, you know, and you know, in 1 year you can go as coming in as a wage grade 1 and become a wage grade 5. That's within right at 12 months, a year being in there. So you done actually made come in. I don't know what the pay raise is right now, but I think it's like maybe $17 an hour as a wage grade 1, and then once you make a wage grade 5, it's like $22 an hour. So somewhere in between a year, you done got a $5 raise, which you're not going to too much find it anywhere else.
No, you go. So tell me where you work at again, so I can make sure these young men listening now.
This is Puget Sound Naval Shipyard in Bremerton, Washington.
Okay, the most difficult thing about holding a family together.
The number one thing is if you and your mate does not have God in your life, and neither one of them life. If one is actively involved in the church and one is not, finances. Finances is the number one thing that kills a family. But and the other thing is communication. So if you communicate, you can always communicate about the finances and take care of that part. But open communication has to be all the way around. You got to be able to talk about everything, because that's you and her is one. And without one or the other, you're not sharing with the other one, and it builds up. And then once it builds up, it become like rigid, and it push both of you away. And the relationship suffers from that. It suffers from not having the church involved in your life, and then it suffers from communication, and then that financial situation. So it is there, but a man, and I always say this, a man has to be the one, because he got to be the man to go out and make the family take care of his family. That's the bottom line. The first thing, you can't get frustrated. You just have to continue to pray, and through Jesus, he'll send you to the right place at the right time. Everybody has their own season. It's all within time. I had to do the same thing. I always make this statement. I talk about tithing all the time, and believe me, if I knew what I know now, if I could have done this years ago, man, God would have truly, don't get me wrong, now he blessing me all the way around, but when I was going into the clubs, and I'm just telling you, I'm going to the clubs, and man, I don't need to be paying, I ain't paying no tithes. Sleep in, because I got a bad head from partying on Saturday night and sleeping in on Sunday. But when I changed and turned all that around, man, he was still right there with me, and been there with me ever since. And I give, and I don't look for nothing in return. But every time I give, it's always plenty that come back to me. I don't have anything to vent and get off my mind, but I will say this. I've been in masonry since 1988. And to be fact, I was raised in September 1988 in Lawton, Oklahoma. And I demitted into this jurisdiction, into Washington jurisdiction in 1993, when we got ready to start Pride of Washington Law number 98. and I admitted in there, and I was a chartered member, but I was the junior deacon when we started that lodge in Lacey, Washington. And you know, I shared with the guys last year, it was our 20th year anniversary, and I told them, I say, now, if anybody got an aspiration in masonry or to be a Grand Master, I say, if you look at where I started at in the lodge 20 years ago, I was the junior deacon. And 20 years later, I'm the most worshipful Grand Master of this jurisdiction. So I say that to say this, that, you know, I've been in, what keep me motivated about masonry is because I'm still trying to get to where I said that what I wanted to see what I wanted to see out of masonry. Masonry does not have anything to give me, is what we have. Okay, and to be honest with it, it done kept me out of trouble. It done made my thinking a whole lot clearer. It makes me respect people even more, and because I go out and I don't the same thing I give is what I ask to receive, and so it's been there. It always gonna be there, and I've been a faithful member since 1988.